Hey everyone, it's your girl Nat here. So I got a request recently to talk about how to make an architecture or art portfolio from scratch. If you are making a portfolio or you just need to refresh your current portfolio, this is the guide for you. But first, coffee. Step number 2, get comfy. So much better. All jokes aside, let's just hop right into the video, the stuff that you actually care about, not me just goofing around. For a warning, it took me 9 days straight to do my portfolio. Today, I really wanted to help guide you through how to make a digital portfolio. I don't use any web-based portfolios. I use a website called Issue to publish my portfolio. So InDesign is an Adobe product that is used mainly for publishing, and I'm not going to go through how to use InDesign. There's a bunch of tutorials on YouTube regarding InDesign, but I will show you how I set up my pages and whatnot. I first want to give you a couple tips. You need to look at your portfolio like it's its own design problem and project. To start, I would recommend just going through Issue and finding a bunch of portfolios that you are fond of. But also, I want you to focus primarily on the layout, not the projects. You look at the projects of a grad student and you're only an undergrad student, like I did. I got very frustrated with myself that I wasn't producing such high quality work as some grad student in Harvard was. You need to spend a day or two just going through all of your files, your review boards, everything. Whatever programs you use, you need to go through and you need to organize them in a very strategic manner. I want you to make a list of all the projects that you've created. I would rank them as you go. Another thing you can do regarding what to put in and what not to put in is you can ask feedback from your peers. I would recommend just getting a bunch of scrap pieces of paper together and almost storyboard what your portfolio should be. I would be cautious though of going online and Googling InDesign portfolio template. First of all, most of them are super cheesy. I think a portfolio is a great way to express yourself as a designer. Fonts are super hard.
That's what she said.
Pairing a sans serif font with a serif font and use only 2 fonts throughout your entire portfolio. This will help distinguish and create a hierarchy within your bodies of text and have 1 accent color. Portfolios with 10 different colors, even 5 different colors, and it's very distracting for the eye. The portfolio is just meant to complement your projects that you already created and understand that less is more. The cover also is a very tricky thing to design. Other people include some sort of architectural drawing, black and white, or model photograph. I would recommend creating your own template and layout that you will use across your portfolio to introduce every single project. This lets the reader know when they have moved on to the next project. Another tip for you guys is that white space is so good. The relationship between positive and negative space in a portfolio is critical. But I've seen portfolios where they are landscape like this. This landscape portfolio is not as effective as a portrait portfolio. So this is my freshman year portfolio. Before you scream at me saying I have sketches in here, I do. And look how bad it looks. It is not consistent at all. But you see with the landscape portfolio how your eye is just drawn across the page. It is not ideal for the eye to be panning along such a wide white space. It's very great for horizontal drawings, but if you're trying to put a vertical happy drawing in a landscape portfolio, it's not ideal. It looks kind of weird and the proportions are just off. This is why I recommend you switch to this type of orientation. So on one of my pages, I was able to include a landscape happy drawing, but you're also able to include a vertical happy drawing. So I think that's it for all of my tips on a portfolio. Now, I did get this question and it's like, what do you include in a portfolio? And that is up to you. You are the designer. This is your project. The things that I would include are any architectural work or drawings that you feel very proud of. Things I wouldn't include would be any sketches or trace paper diagrams. Just translate all of your party diagrams into Adobe Illustrator. It's super simple. You're gonna wanna keep sense of consistency throughout it, so you can't jump back and forth between hand drawings, digital renders, digital floor plans. to like another hand party diagram or whatever. It gets confusing. Don't include work that is not good. If the project itself is 5 years old, it is time to say goodbye. Or you could go up and spruce up the drawings with your new skills that you learned within 5 years. So you don't want to include spelling errors, bad renders, hand drawings. If you don't draw in your free time, you don't have to include it. Bodies of text. The images should be enough to speak for your project, and this is why we want to render out really beautiful renders. We want to go back and edit these old projects with the new skills that we learned in the following years. Another thing I wouldn't conclude if you are in the working world are CDs. They aren't really pretty. Can't really tell what the person has contributed to the CD. So now I want to talk about the organization of your portfolio on the interior. We talked about layouts for a little bit. You'll find your own layout, and hopefully by researching and going through a bunch of architecture or art portfolios on issue, using a grid system is crucial and critical, especially if they're viewing this digitally. And chances are they are in this modern day and age. You want to make sure all your titles line up. You would have crafted that list when you were going through file organization. Now you need to start laying it out. Now, I've had one professor tell me at OSU, have your second best project first, your best project second, and your third best project last, and then in the middle you can have some fluff project. Another organization trick I've seen people do is they'll do academic work separated by professional work or personal work. Okay, so we talked about layout, orientation, colors, fonts, what to include. So now we're gonna hop in InDesign and I'm gonna show you how to get your document set up. Let's go. Okay, so this is InDesign. If you are new to it, like I mentioned before, there are a bunch of videos on YouTube. Watch those, familiarize yourself with the program. I just opened up a draft version of my InDesign portfolio files. As you can see, I already established a strict grid. I use different master pages and types just to differentiate the cover page with my table of contents pages. And it also helps when you are creating a page number system if you choose to do that. I created a hierarchy of text within my table of contents. This is what I meant by blending serif and sans serif fonts together. This is what my project introduction pages looks like. I use different paragraph styles. As I mentioned before, you need to go back to old projects and spruce them up a bit. It takes a while, but I think it's worth it in the end. You don't want to break the grid. That's why we have the grid lines established in our InDesign document. Okay, so this is your new document. You want to include gutters and columns. This document has 5 columns. So in total, I think there is a learning curve just learning InDesign, but once you learn InDesign, you can probably get set up and just whip out your portfolio very fast. At the end of your final portfolio draft, you are going to want to package your portfolio in InDesign. Creates a super neat file where all of your imported images that are in the portfolio along with the InDesign file type, they're all put together in these beautiful folders. You need to go back, read all the captions, check the layout, make sure everything's aligned properly. You're following the grid, all the font is the same. All the colors match up to its pure color. If you have professors that you are still in contact with and on good terms with, you can always reach out to them and have them review your portfolio. Architecture has always been in the details, right? Thanks, Ram. The portfolio is no exception to this, and it will take a long time and it is a labor of love, but I think it's absolutely great. All right, well, I know that was a super long video. I hope the coffee and the comfy clothes suggestion went a long way. Well, good luck, and until next time, love you guys. Landscape, portrait. Oh, okay, I don't even know what I'm saying.